Hello, my name is Laura and this is the 5th episode of my knitting podcast. Today I have 2 pretty small finished objects, 3 and a half works in progress, and like 2 acquisitions to share with you guys. And today I am wearing my Stockholm sweater by PetiteKnit. I knit this in 2 strands of a Hobby Lobby brand yarn called Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed in the colorway Stonework. I held 2 strands together, and I'm wearing this today to kind of give a little comparison for what I'll share a little bit later in the video. And also this guy just hasn't gotten a lot of love from me, so here we go. It's a colder day, I'll wear it. All right, so to get started, my first small finished object is another Oslo hat. If you haven't caught my last couple podcasts, basically I am knitting an Oslo hat for pretty much everyone in my family for Christmas, and this one is my dad's. I knit a size medium, I think. Like not the largest size, but the one step down, and I think it turned out pretty good. Yeah, it's an Oslo hat. This is my 3rd one I've made. I thought it'd be fun to like show y'all my ever-growing collection. So this is the first one I made for myself in the size small, I want to say, and then the next one I made is for my brother-in-law in the largest size, and then now my dad in like the medium size. So mine is knit in Sandnes Garn Double Sunday in the color Electric Blue, and these guys are both in Lang Yarns Merino 120. And this one that I made for my dad is just in the color red. I mentioned this in the last podcast, but it was so refreshing to knit this because of the color, because everyone else in my family loves the color blue in some way. Like even me, like I'm guilty too. Like look at this, like this was my color of choice and this was my brother-in-law. And then both my sisters like gave me a version of a color blue. So I was like, oh, thank goodness my dad's favorite color is red. But anyway, I really have nothing crazy to say about this Oslo hat other than I didn't really pay attention to it while I was knitting, but after I blocked this guy in just water, like I just literally got it wet for like 30 minutes and then laid it out for like 5 days to dry, it is so flipping soft. Like, oh my gosh, this is 100% superwash merino yarn, and I don't know what happened, because like this is the same yarn just in a different color, but this red is like softer, and I almost said significantly softer, but like it's kind of significantly softer. I don't know what happened. Like I think I've read somewhere that lighter colors are a little softer, or maybe I'm just completely making that up, but like when I pulled it off the blocking mat, this is great. Like wow. Anyway, so I hope my dad really appreciates this, and not to say this isn't soft, but the red is softer, you know. Anyway, I am just adoring having my ever-growing collection. So now I've knit like 3 different sizes, and look how cute all this is. Like, I love this. I think for my sisters, I'm going to knit the size small, and it's going to be in the same like Lang, or at least one of them is going to be in the same Lang Yarns superwash, and so it'll grow a little bit more than this one did, because I think that'll be perfect. Well, here, I'll try on my dad's, because I was thinking about knitting the size medium for them, but I feel like it's just a little, maybe it's just too much at the top here, because this feels fine, but I feel like a size down, or maybe making this shorter would be good. I haven't decided yet. I'll have to like try them on in the mirror a few times and like look at it and think about it. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Oslo hat. I'm really excited for when I have the full collection to share with you guys. Oh, last thing, it took me 3 balls of yarn to make my brother-in-law's, and so I also ordered 3 balls of yarn to make my dad's, and I had almost an entire ball left over. Like, I think I definitely could have shortened the top a little bit and not needed the 3rd ball, which is crazy. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Maybe I'll make, I don't know, like a striped Oslo hat or a striped something with all of this that I have left over, because if I keep using the same yarn and then knit smaller sizes, like I'm just gonna have a lot left over. and have to do something with it. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. Okay, that's my first finished object. Nothing crazy, but still fun. Okay, my second finished object, you guys saw half of it in the last episode, but this is my first finished pair of vanilla socks. I just followed the Crazy Sock Lady YouTube tutorial for vanilla socks on Magic Loop, and this is my result. I made fun of my foot last time because of how giant this looks. Like, this part just looks crazy, and actually in hindsight, after blocking, I do think I knit like maybe like 5-ish rows too many. So my foot's not this, it's like 5 rows smaller than this, okay? So it's fine. I knit this in a yarn called Twisted Ambitions yarn in the color Ocean, I believe. Yeah, the color Ocean, and this is just regular sock yarn, like 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this was a $30 pair of socks. The tag says $30, so then I also paid a little bit of tax on top of that. So, but we'll round down and say this was about a $30 pair of socks, which is a little crazy to me, but it was fun. It was fun. I would gladly pay $30 for this. Took me like 2 months to make, just because I'd pick it up, set it down, whatever. And so I'd pay $30 for like however many hours of entertainment this gave me. It was super cute. It was super fun. Anyway, I feel like socks can be a super fun way for me to try out different fancier yarns of different colors that I wouldn't usually try, because that was something I said about my Stockholm sweater, which is that I don't know if I'm a huge fan of wearing variegated yarns as a sweater, and so like as a sock, it's not bad. I will say, like, it looked prettier in the like hank than it does knitted up. Like, it just kind of muddied a little bit. And so some people commented on my last podcast and were suggesting that I try like maybe a more speckled sock yarn instead of a variegated. So I didn't take that advice for this next thing I'm about to show you. But for my next pair, I am probably definitely gonna get more of like a speckled and less color variation within one skein of yarn. But yeah, as far as like the fit goes, I just used a long tail cast on for these, and my first one that I did, I can tell this is the first one I knit because it doesn't stretch quite as much. And so for the second one, I like tried to loosen it up a little bit, but I just used the long tail cast on, and I kind of struggled to get both of these over my, like the widest part of my foot. So just something to keep in mind. I'll bring that back up in just a second. Okay, last thing I want to share about my socks is that I have 37.5 grams left over of a 100-gram skein of yarn, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, this is a lot of yarn, but it's like also not enough that I can't really do anything with it. Like, I don't think I can squeeze out another pair of socks with just this, so I probably won't be doing that. But it got me thinking, now that I am officially a sock knitter, as I collect more scraps of yarn, like fingering weight yarn, it would be so cute to start an excavation blanket. I think Emily over at High Fiber Knits is using mostly fingering weight for hers because she's where I got the idea. And so I think that would be so fun, and especially since I plan on using like a bunch of different crazy, like not all the same color sock yarns. So that would be super fun to eventually have this like giant, almost rainbow crazy blanket. I don't know, I think it'd be cute. So I think that's kind of what I'm planning right now. I'm not even remotely going to start that until maybe I've made like 3 or 4 more pairs of socks, just because I don't know, I do hate having things just like sitting on needles for a very long period of time. So it would definitely be something that I'd have to get needles specifically for that project and then just never have to use them. So anyway, just something I'm kind of thinking about. And or maybe next time I just try to make shorter socks and really do try to squeeze out 2 pair. But with my big foot, I don't know if that's possible, but I could probably gift knit some for other people. So anyway, those are my first pair of vanilla socks, and it was a lot of fun to knit. I definitely learned a little bit, and I will talk about that with my first work in progress, and that is another pair of socks. Okay, so this is also just going to be a pair of vanilla socks because I feel like I haven't really mastered it yet or really gotten my fill of that. So I want to do another pair, but a couple of things that I have already done different is that I took y'all's advice, or a couple of y'all on my last video commented and said that I should try a German twisted cast on for my next pair, and I did. And coupled with that, I also did 2x2 ribbing instead of 1x1, just because I personally like the look of that better. And it is super stretchy. I have not tried to put this over my foot yet, but I'm really hoping that it'll go over my foot. The German twisted cast on was like not a big deal. I felt like it was like one extra step from a long tail cast on or one extra loop-de-loop, whatever. And it wasn't bad at all. And it's pretty stretchy. It'll be fine. I think this will go over my foot easier than the long tail cast on. But okay, but the part that you're probably all wondering about is what yarn am I using? Oh my god. Let me just look how cute this is. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to butcher, and that is it is Schoppel Zauberball Crazy in the color 2092 Schokoladenseite. We're gonna go with that. And it is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. It is a 2-ply yarn, and so basically like what Zauberball Crazy is two different plies of 2 different colors that are like then plied together, twisted together, and you get like I don't know, what's that called? Just marling. Like it marls into 2 different colors. Guys, I saw this online and I just had to have it because also like the October bug just bit me and I needed something orange immediately to go on my needles because it's October, like you have to like be crafting with something orange or like fall-ish colors. And so when I saw this and it also kind of had like Halloween vibes to it, it got me really excited to the point that the day it was supposed to come in was like a Saturday, I don't know. And I was tracking where the UPS or like the mailman was like on his route. And then he got like 3 houses down from us and just sat there like at the end of their driveway for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I was freaking out. I was like, why is he not coming to our house? Like I want this yarn so badly. And like I felt like a literal child. Like I kept looking out the front, like checking our mailbox for like when the mailman would anyway. I was really excited about this. I cast the socks on immediately. Oh, and it's so fun. It's so cute. At first, I was a little disappointed because this is like a lot of gray. I like out of this and like how like the 2 plies are like a little more marled, I wasn't expecting to have like such a big chunk of gray. So that was a little interesting, but now that I'm like transitioning into more orange and red, like I just started like 4 rows of the slip stitch heel, it's better. But I was like, that's a lot of gray. Like this looks way more colorful than that does. So it's supposed to be self-striping, but I just didn't realize the gray stripe would be that big, but it's fine. It's still fun. It's still cute. I also think it just depends on like where the ball started, because it started with like just like a smidgen of orange and yellow and then went straight into the entire gray section. So I'll probably get that later on, like maybe at the foot or like at a different part of the second sock. Anyway, but I don't know, it's just fine. I just really wanted to try like something Halloween-y themed, something self-striping, because it's not, it's not variegated, right? So like I knew it wouldn't look like this, and so I figured self-striping would be kind of fun. So the thing about this yarn though is, like I said, it is a 2-ply yarn that's like twisted together, and that looks super cute, and it is super cute. Sometimes it's not super cute to knit with because it's really easy to like split the plies in half, and I had a big like boo-boo 2 nights ago, and I was really tired too, and so it like the world was ending basically, where one of my end like stitches right before starting the like right when I started the heel flap was I split the stitch and I couldn't like see where the other half was, so I tried to like undo it and then pick it back up, but like I didn't pick up the correct thing, or I picked up the stitch underneath it, and so I was like, great, I'll just rip back everything I've done, and then I just ended up dropping like every single stitch, and I was freaking out, and all I had was a 4mm crochet hook to like try to salvage this, and that obviously wasn't going to work on 2.25mm needles. So I went to the store last night and I got the tiniest crochet hook, and I was able to pick up all the stitches that I dropped, get it back on, and now calmly continue knitting these socks. But I can definitely see why, like I've heard people say that they prefer like a 4-ply sock yarn, or maybe even something a little more if that's a thing, because the 2-ply, like I have split this several times, and at the point like I can't even see it, but I could feel it when I first started knitting. Like there's this one little section right here of just plain stockinette where I like dropped a bunch of stitches and it went really far down. And when I went to pick it up, I still think like I might have only picked up 1 ply in a couple different spots. And so it's just like very coarse right there and like not super cute, but I'm just gonna ignore it and move on because I don't feel like undoing all that. It's fine. But something to keep in mind. I don't know if I will knit with this yarn again based on the 2-ply thing, but this has been super fun to just see the colors and like the stripes as they come out. And the stripe that I am super excited to see is going to be this like neon orange mixed with the gray, because I think it'll just like pop so much. And I'm really excited to see what that looks like knitted up in the sock. So anyway, that is my second pair of vanilla socks and my first work in progress. Okay, so for my second work in progress, y'all saw this in my last podcast episode, and I have not made much progress on it. But that is my blouse number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I have maybe put like 4 rounds on the body since y'all last saw this, so not much has been done, and that's because I got really excited to cast on something else. But one thing that I am liking about the pattern, okay, so basically the reason why I haven't been picking this up is because the pattern. And not that there's anything wrong with the pattern, but obviously it's a lot of purling. And that's not like exactly what I want to be doing all the time, and that's okay. But also, when I thought it would like get faster when I got to the body, but there's this little like side detail that she's got where you've got like 2 raised knit stitches, it looks like, where, you know, the front and back panels join, which I think is a beautiful detail. Like it's so pretty, and I'm going to love it when it's finished. But actually knitting it just slows me down, like it stops the flow because I don't have the pattern memorized, and so I have to like stop and reference it every time I get to this part, and you know, so it just slows me down. So it's not a very fast knit, it's not a mindless knit, and so that's why it hasn't necessarily been the first thing that I've picked up. But every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I never knit with this? Because I love this yarn, like oh my gosh. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using for this is a Hobby Lobby brand called Yarn Bee Bamboo-tiful in the color white, and it is, what are you, 50% cotton and 50% viscose from bamboo. This is so soft. Like I have never touched silk, I don't think, which is, I feel like I just can't remember like ever feeling what silk in a ball of yarn feels like, or even just like real silk, but I can imagine it's very close to what this feels like, because like it's so shiny feeling, like it feels shiny, if that makes sense. And it's just like so soft and so delicious and like squishy. Oh my gosh, it's so squishy. And that's probably just a bunch of the purling that's helping with that. But I love this yarn. And so every time I sit down to knit, I'm like, why the heck have I not been knitting on this? Like, it's so enjoyable. Like, it's so pleasant. And, you know, I will say, like, the cotton and bamboo, like, doesn't have as much stretch as a wool does. So, but it's fine because I also feel like the pattern is kind of looser and you don't really have to like keep like a super even gauge or tension. And it's just so, I just love it. Oh my gosh. And because I love it so much, they're going to discontinue it as soon as possible. I just know, like, that's what Hobby Lobby does. They'll have a yarn out for like 6 months to a year and then pretend like it never existed. So I don't know if I should like get another sweaters quantity before it goes away, but I also like I'm not the type of person to really buy yarn with no plan for it, but I might. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it because I really like it. I should probably wait until this is done and see how the yarn actually wears, because I could put this on and hate it, which I highly doubt that'll happen, but I might go. I might get some more. Yeah, especially like this little stockinette section. Like, I could just imagine like sitting down and enjoying knitting with this just in stockinette so much. So anyway, not much progress on this, but I'm trying like one round a day, and it takes forever, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Also, one thing that I kind of thought when I first started watching knitting podcasts was I thought it was weird when people said that they were seasonal knitters. Like, they wanted to knit woolly things in the winter and like plant fibers in the summer. And I was like, excuse you? Like, you don't want to knit wool all year long, or like you can't just knit a cotton something or another in January. And for some reason I thought that was super weird. Like, who wouldn't be able to just knit whatever they wanted at any point in the year? But the moment that I saw a leaf turn orange outside, I dropped my blouse number 2 like it was hot, and I cast on just something with as much wool content or as much fuzz and fluffy and deliciousness that I could think of. And I understand now. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love knitting on my blouse number 2 with like the cotton and bamboo, and I'm going to finish it this year, and I'll just have to finish it in colder weather. But I get how like as soon as it turns to like cozy weather, you just want to like cozy up with wool or whatever. I'm getting really excited about this, but like I understand now. Like, I completely understand. And I am those weird people, or those people that I thought were weird back in the day when I had not gone through an entire year's worth of knitting. Like, I am people now. So, and it's fine. And I understand it. The hype, it's great. I love it. Okay. Moving on. That is my second work in progress. And my third and final work in progress is that woolly thing I was just talking about. And that is my Stockholm sweater V-neck by PetiteKnit. This is how much I have done so far. I have almost all of the body. I have one sleeve done, and the neck, V-neck, started. So I am knitting this in one strand of Sandnes Garn Sunday in the color 4343 Raspberry Sorbet. This is 100% non-superwash merino. And then, well, actually, so the pattern calls for 2 strands of mohair to be held together, but I wanted to do a fingering in mohair-ish something. But instead of an actual mohair, I am doing Lang Yarns Alpaca Superlight. And this is the color 129 Rosewood. It is 54% alpaca, 24% nylon, and 22% merino. And for starters, I think the reason I picked these colors is not because I was like, I want something pink, but it was because of how perfectly I thought they went together. Like, I saw these online and I was just like, they were made for each other, and together it's gonna be perfect. And so that's why I got these. I was leaning towards something red, honestly, because I thought red would be super cute and we're going into Christmas. So this definitely gives like February Valentine's Day theme vibes. And that's okay. I mean, who doesn't want to be like pink and like lovey-dovey sometimes? I don't know. Anyway, I just thought these colors were great, and so that's why I picked it. No thought went into that, really. And basically, if you saw my Paris video that I just put out, the reason that I cast on this sweater in the first place is because my husband and I went to Paris recently. It was a dream come true. If you are interested in seeing that trip and like hearing a little bit more of my thought process behind that, then the Paris video is on my page, and anyway, I might link it somewhere. But for that, I wanted to cast on a completely new project, and it was somewhat fall weather some days over there, so something woolly was perfect. Woolly, yeah, this is merino wool. Something like softer and woolly would be perfect. And yeah, okay, the reason I'm wearing this sweater then is to give you a comparison, which is that I do love my Stockholm sweater, normal, regular, but this is in a size small, and I don't know if you can see, like it's got a little bit of positive ease, but not as much as I would have liked, and that's okay. So it's not like the most, I don't know, I wanted it to be a little bit like more bigger and flowier and whatever. So I cast on the V-neck version in a size up, which is a medium, and I haven't even tried this on yet, so I hope it's got more positive ease, but I think this will be a little bit bigger and cuter. Cuter? I think it'll be cuter because this yarn is okay. This yarn, the solid color, I think is going to be great. So yeah, that's pretty much why I picked the pattern. Pretty arbitrary. I just wanted a V-neck something, and I knew I liked this pattern, and so I thought the V-neck version of the same pattern in a little bit bigger size would be cute. So that's why I did that. And so far, I'm really liking it. Okay, something I said at the end of my Paris video is that I don't know if I will be knitting with this guy again for a couple different reasons. The first one is that when I was purling a lot for the back and front panels, I got a little callus on my thumb because like when I purl, I guess I like really rub the yarn against my thumb. And I did like a tiny little callus. It went away immediately, but I did notice that this was a little bit rough for me personally to work with because I guess I'm a wimp. But then also, it's very thick and thin. Like it goes like this. It's very thick and thin, and that has not been the most fun to knit with because whenever you go to pick up a stitch, like I feel like I'm splitting the yarn. Like when you have to pick up like through a really chunky, fluffy section, and it's just not been the most like fun or like mindless knit because I want to be aware of picking up the entire stitch and I'm not like dropping half of it or whatever. So that's just something. So basically, I basically said in my Paris video that unless the fabric of this sweater is gorgeous, that I probably won't be knitting with the Alpaca Superlight again. And then I got this much of the sweater done, and the fabric is really soft, you guys. Like, I like this. Like, I really like this. And I don't know what to do because I don't know, like the knitting experience wasn't that great, but like this is so soft and fluffy. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is try another fluffy lace weight alpaca something, but maybe not this one exactly, because this fabric is really nice, and I'm hoping that when it blocks out, it'll be even softer. I'll keep you guys updated. But anyway, this is my Stockholm sweater V-neck by PetiteKnit, and yeah, it's just a fluffy fall pink for some reason. Great thing to work on. Oh, one thing though. I feel like I'm playing yarn chicken already because I stopped knitting the body. Where'd it go? I stopped knitting the body because I'm completely out of this, oh, it's looks horrible. Oh, it's tangled. There it is. I'm like almost completely out of this ball of merino and this ball of, what are you? The Lang. And so this is all I have left. And I still have to finish the collar, one entire sleeve, and the bottom ribbing. And this is stressful. And so that's why I haven't picked up this guy in the past couple days, because this just brings me a lot of anxiety of like having to run out of yarn, because I know, like I've checked online where I ordered this from. I know that they don't have any of this in stock. So this would take like a month to come in probably. And that just, you know, it slows you down. Like it's not really exciting to have to wait a month for your yarn to come in, but I get it. Like it's fine. But anyway, it's been a little stressful. I feel like I'm playing yarn chicken for the first time in my life, and I don't like that. I feel like I'm losing, but hopefully I'll come out on the other side with maybe just a slightly more cropped sweater than I originally wanted. It's fine. So, but anyway, that is my last official full work in progress. And yeah, I'm excited to have this one to be able to wear. Like I really am excited about this finished object, since the knitting process hasn't been as enjoyable as it could be. I'm really, really hoping that the finished object is worth the weird yarn. So anyway, that is that. Okay, then for my like half work in progress, I would call it, is I kind of gauge swatched for my porcelain sweater. And I'm going to be knitting that in Sandnes Garn Double Sunday. This is 100% merino wool. Let me see what colors this is. Okay, so this is the color Electric Blue, which is the same color that I made my Oslo hat in. So I just thought, oh, I just love this color. And then this guy is the color Putty, which is 1015 is the color code. And yeah, I just thought this would be a really sweet porcelain sweater. So also, let me just go ahead and say, like, I love knitting with this stuff. Like, all I've done is like half of a gauge swatch, and it is so great to knit with. So I'm really excited about that. But okay, for my gauge swatch, I hit gauge. Thank you. And I thought it would be interesting to try color work, or like, you know, a swatched color work thing without knowing anything, without doing any research, without watching a single video on how to properly do it, and just kind of see what my baseline is. And I only did half of the motif because I thought I was wasting yarn at that point. Oh, also, so my swatch is inverted from what my actual sweater is going to be. Like, my actual sweater is going to look like her sample, where it's mostly the white color and with the blue accents, but I'm just really scared of running out of the white, so I didn't want to like waste it in a gauge swatch basically. But anyway, I did half of a motif because I was getting discouraged at how bad it was looking. I figured it was just wasting yarn at that point, but I knew that I hit gauge, and so that's all I really needed to accomplish. So that's what it is. The middle part I think looks fine, but the edges, like right here, get a little weird. Here's what the back looks like. Like, that's okay. I didn't catch any of my floats. Like, I didn't do anything. I was just like, what does this look like with me not knowing anything? And it looks like halfway decent. Like I said, the middle two like little motif sections look great, but then the edges where you have to like bring the accent color from one row to the next row up, like left holes in my motif, and it made it super loose. Like, I know the big thing with color work is it's too tight, but like I was really afraid of that, so those sections are really loose and ugly. So basically it's a pretty good baseline, I think, for having never done anything with color work before. It's good to know where I'm starting, and so now I know specifically like what tutorials I want to look up and whatever else. So yeah, I thought this kind of counts as a work in progress because I just barely started it. I think today or maybe tomorrow I might cast on the upper back and just do like the plain white section and wait on the color work for a while. Okay, but here's the other thing. So my blouse number 2 and my Stockholm sweater v-neck are both on 4mm needles. And so this is also supposed to be on 4mm needles. and that's a lot of 4mm going on, and I only have 2 pair of 4mm needles for 3 different projects, so I feel like they're fighting each other. So maybe I'll wait on this just a little bit longer, but I also might not because I'm really excited about this, but it's fine. Yeah, anyway, one thing about this guy is I don't plan on this being a fast project. Like, when it comes to the colorwork motif, if I only get like 1 round done in a night or something, that's fine. Like, I want to knit this as slowly as it takes for me to be very happy and very proud of the finished object. So if this takes me forever, like, that's okay. I want it to be as good as I can make it. So that's pretty much it. That is all I have to show of my porcelain sweater. Hopefully in the next podcast I'll have a little more something to show, but that's it. All right, and the last section of things I want to share with y'all are my acquisitions. And the first one of those is what I got in Paris. I went to a yarn store called Lil Weasel. Super cute. Like, if you want to see a little bit of that footage, it's in my Paris vlog. But my thought was I wanted something that I couldn't get here at home, and I really wanted a pair, like, sock yarn. And so that's what I thought I picked out, which is this guy. This is Miss Lamotte, and it is the color Dutch Still Life. This is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So me, who's only knitted 1 pair of socks in her life at the time, was like, great, that's the same like fiber content and nylon, whatever the heck's, as the other sock yarn I've used. This is great, this is perfect. And then I got this because it was so soft, and I love the speckles. That was another thing. I didn't want something completely variegated, like I wanted the more speckly yarn, okay? And I got back to our hotel room and was like looking at this and then comparing it to the Sunday that I was using to do my Stockholm v-neck sweater. And this guy is thicker. And I know Sandnes Garn Sunday is a fingering weight. So I was like, why is this guy thicker? So I looked up the yardage, and this is 360 meters per 100 grams. And that is not a fingering weight yarn. That is a sport weight yarn. And I didn't know that. So I can probably make a pair of socks out of this, just like get like a couple needle sizes bigger or something. But then I was also thinking, I don't know if white socks would really do with my life. I have a dog, and his favorite hobby is bringing dirt into the house, and so I wouldn't want to completely ruin a pair of socks like that I couldn't even wear around my house. So like I asked in my Paris vlog, if you guys have any pattern recommendations for 100 grams of a sport weight yarn, I would love to hear it, because I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this. But it's so pretty, and it is so soft. Oh my gosh. That's honestly why I got it. I really wanted, what's the La Bien Aimée? I think that's the yarn. They had a lot of that at the store, and I kept touching the cashmere like, this is the one I really want. But it was like 50 euros or something crazy. So I didn't get that, but it's okay. But this is very soft, and yeah, so this is the first time I bought something. I bought yarn and like had no idea what I'm gonna do with it. That's a little scary to me. So if you guys have pattern recommendations, I really would love to hear them. I was thinking like a hat of some kind, because this is so beautiful and so white that I feel like a hat wouldn't get super dirty. But yeah, I'm open to anything, really, suggestions. This isn't like my top priority, so like I have a while to think about it and ponder it over and research stuff. But yeah, it's so nice. I'm just really grateful I was able to find something that I got in Paris. I also got these needles that are on the neckline right now, which are Chow-gu needles, because I didn't have 3mm needles, so I got those, and the Chow-gus are really cute. I like them. I can't say that I love knitting with metal needles. Like, for some reason, knitting with it on the socks doesn't bother me, but on like a bigger project, like, it's a weird texture for some reason. I don't know, this metal also feels a little bit different than the ChiaoGoo. Or maybe I'm just completely making that up. I could be lying. But I don't know, for some reason it doesn't bother me on socks, but for that, it's not my favorite knitting experience ever. But it's okay, it's just a neckline. I can do that. So, all right, last two things I want to share with y'all. And that is this guy. I have 3 of these. And if you've been following along with this journey, then you can probably guess what this is for. But this is going to be another Oslo hat. This is for my older sister. She sent me like 5 different colors within this color family that she said were her favorite colors, or she just kind of liked the general vibe of these colors. And so I picked out my favorite color out of those basically, and what I thought was like the closest match to one of the ones that she sent me. But this is again Lang Merino 120, which is 100% superwash merino. And this is the color 4604. I don't know if it has a name, but it probably does. I just don't remember what it is. But yeah, this is it. So just for a comparison, like this is much more green than the other, well, why am I holding red? This is much more green than the other 2 blues that I have knitted with. And I'm really excited about this. I think this will match her eyes really nicely. That's kind of why I picked it out. So hopefully it'll be pretty close to that. And yeah, I'm excited to work with it. It's so soft. I'm curious to see if it's going to be like the same level of softness as the red, or if it's going to be a little bit closer to the dark blue, because this is like kind of a, you know, it's lighter. And maybe, is this an in-between color of the red and blue of darkness? I don't know. Maybe it's lighter than all of it. Maybe this will be the softest one yet. We'll see. But really excited about that. I love this color. Okay. And then for the very last thing, very small, I bought some more 4mm knitting needles because I only had 1 pair before I bought these. And then I just went ahead and bought like a little sample kit of knit picks. Like they'll send you a 4mm and a 4.5mm. One of them is wooden and one of them is metal. I don't know if I will ever touch the metal needles, so I'm not really sure why I bought this kit, but it was only like $10. So I got the Majestic needle set. I hope you can see that, but it's like purple and green and blue and really pretty and not at all great for dark colors, but that's okay. Like I can switch it out for my blouse number 2, which is 100% white, and knit with it on that and it'll be fine. So anyway, just one little acquisition to show y'all. They're super cute. They're a slightly different texture than the other ones that I have, which are, I forget what these are called, but they're more like traditional wood. Like these feel more plasticky, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Like I do think I prefer the more wooden like kind of texture, but it's okay. I picked it out because the color was pretty. So that's that. And yeah, that is all I have for this podcast. Thank you so much for watching and geeking out about some different yarn and projects with me. It's always super fun to sit down and film this. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.